All right, there we are. I see myself now, which means I guess you can see me as well. So looks like all systems are good. Okay, let's go. So just last Tuesday, a CEO friend of mine who owns a regional manufacturing company called me in distress. He had just lost a 9-year contract worth $22 million in total. Not because his product got worse and not because he screwed up but because his team's execution was too slow. Their competitor quoted in 48 hours. His team took 2 weeks. So by the time they delivered their proposal, it was DOA, dead on arrival, gone, already given to their competitor. You've probably been feeling it yourself. The game has sped up. Are you feeling it? Okay, I can see people joining us from all over. There's David. David is one of our Hardy Club captains. Good to see you, my man. Rebecca is here from London. What time is it in freaking London right now? And then, hey, Marcus, lots of familiar names popping up. I got a story for you about Marcus as we go through this, okay? So, right now, you might not have lost a contract that size yet, but you're feeling it, right? The pressure, the sense that everything around you is moving so much faster and that you're working harder than ever, but somehow still falling behind. Well, let me call it the way that it shows up in real business every day. By the time you call back a customer, they've already bought your solution elsewhere. The key employee that you've been courting already signed with a competitor. All the while, your inbox is a landfill, your calendar is a crime scene, your day is constantly getting eaten up by interruptions, so you have to resort to starting your real work at 7:30 p.m. Look, here's the deal, okay? I know that you're not short on effort. What you are short on, though, is leverage. And here's what I'm here to tell you. You're going to want to pay attention to this. The only way to create speed when you're already maxed out is speed through systems, not more sacrifice. That's what today is about. And already, over the last 60 days, I have watched this pattern destroy businesses run by smart people, people who work hard, people who care. And I care too much about what you're building to make a positive impact in our world to let you shrug this off. Somebody just typed in, that's exactly me. Yeah, I know. And that's why we're here, okay? Already, I can tell you which businesses in your market will dominate by Q4 this year. Now, how can I do that? Well, it's not because I'm psychic. It's because I know the decisions that they made in January are now compounding right now. And my heads up to you here is if you haven't made those same decisions yet, you're not just behind, you're about to get lapped. So here's what we're doing the next 45 minutes. I'm going to show you the velocity gap, what it is, why it is widening every day, and what you need to do about it if you're serious about staying competitive. This will not be academic theory. This will not be hypothetical conjecture. What we're going to do here is a diagnostic. We are going to diagnose together what is slowing you down and putting your business longevity at risk. And do not worry, I will offer you a prescription for your cure at the end. Whether you take the cure or not, that's going to be up to you. I also have a free gift for those who stick with me here. I like people who finish what they start. It is a 15-minute business diagnostic that we have spent 100 hours developing for you. And it will reveal the number one bottleneck that is quietly slowing your business as you grow so that you know exactly what to install next to restore speed and momentum. Okay, fair enough? All right, good. Let me get juiced up here as we get going. All righty, now let's get this party started. So I have found that there are two types of people who show up to events like this. Here's type one. They see something relevant and they take immediate action. They see, they decide, and they act. A type two person, they see something relevant and they think about it for weeks. They hem, they haw, they deliberate, they contemplate, they use what is called creative procrastination. And they wait just long enough for the opportunity to pass. And there's almost a sense of relief in that for them because stepping up, taking action takes courage, it takes effort, it puts them on the line. And that's why all the spoils go to the movers, to the action takers. They're not any smarter, they're not any better looking, they're just faster. And now, unlike any other period in human history, it is now a speed game, and speed of decision is the name of the game. So here's the warning that I want to give you. If you need weeks to decide, if you have to check with 5 people, if you need to meditate on it, journal on it, pray on it, chant on it, or consult your dog about the decisions that you'll need to make, you're welcome to stay on this briefing, but clearly it's going to create friction for you because the solution that you'll see requires a capability you might not have built yet. And that is deciding fast, installing fast, and executing fast. Here's one for your notes. Imperfect action beats perfect inaction every time. So, are you still here? Everybody here a type 1? Okay, we will see. Let's dive into what's happening in the world around us. Type ready in the chat if you're locked in. All right, I see you. There's Linda's ready. James is ready. James and I just had a walk and talk together. Okay, lots of ready coming through. Good. All right, let's go. Okay, now listen, it's important that you understand what's happening around you in the marketplace. Because if you don't understand this clearly, everything else that I'm about to tell you won't make any sense. So there are 3 very powerful forces that have converged over the last 18 months and landed themselves in this year. Mariana, are you showing the slides? Okay, there you go. Great, thank you. These 3 forces have created a business environment most operators don't even recognize yet. I said at the start of this year, if you attended my New Year kickoff strategy session, that this is the year economists are calling a quote unquote hinge year. Now, what's a hinge year, you ask? A hinge year is where A, an accumulation of changes builds up, and then the compound effect of those changes converges on a single year. That is this year. And then B, it is when that one year becomes what defines your next 5, maybe your next 10, likely the trajectory of your entire future. So what that means for you is this, that this is the year where the gap between operators with the infrastructure to compete on speed and those without becomes permanent. I'm not saying the gap becomes harder to close here. I'm saying the gap becomes unclosable. So here's what we're going to break down. The 3 forces creating that gap. Now, what I'm about to show you will probably make you angry. Not at me, but at the years that you spent believing the solution was to work harder. It wasn't. And nobody told you. If you're taking notes, this is where you want to start writing, okay? Force number 1, the complexity threshold. You've probably felt this without being able to name it. There's a moment where your business crosses a threshold and everything that used to work stops working. When you're small, what is called founder centrality is your edge. You make all the decisions. You know every customer. You know every process. You can out hustle your bigger competitors because everything runs through you. That works beautifully until you hit the ceiling. And for most businesses, that ceiling hits around 3 to 5 million in revenue, sometimes closer to 10 million, depending on your margins. And then suddenly, every new customer adds exceptions to your process. Every new employee adds coordination overhead. Every new tool adds integration complexity. Every new regulation adds compliance burden. Complexity compounds faster than human bandwidth can compensate. Let me say that again. Complexity compounds faster than human bandwidth can compensate. You used to be able to keep it all in your head, make every decision, review every proposal, handle every exception. What used to feel like leadership now feels like being the human router for everything. Does that sound familiar? I see a lot of yeses in the chat. Yeah, I figured. Oh, hey. There, yeah, there's George. Yes, I see you, buddy. All right, so now with all that, you're not leading anymore. You're processing. And no matter how smart you are, no matter how hard you work, no matter how many hours you put in, you hit terminal velocity. Your bandwidth maxes out. And after that, requests get delayed, details get dropped, quality goes down, and you start to resent your own business. I was talking with a business owner just last month, a $6 million business. He has 22 employees, good operator, smart guy, works 70 hours a week. He said, Darren, I have 57 unread text messages, 200 emails, 6 proposals waiting for my review, and I haven't had an uninterrupted conversation with my wife in 3 weeks. And the worst part, he said, I know that if I take a couple of weekdays off, everything stalls. And then I come back to chaos and catch up. Anybody relate with that? That is the complexity threshold. You've hit the limit of what is called founder centrality. And here's where most operators point fingers at the wrong stuff. They think that it's a discipline problem, or a time management problem, or a delegation problem. You might be surprised to learn it is none of those. It is a business system architecture problem. Your business is still architected like it's a $2 million company where everything runs through you, but the complexity load is more like 14 million. Hey, something's got to give. And guess what usually gives? Yeah, your margins, your team, your health, your family, your business value. Do some of you feel that? Yeah, feeling it, says Linda. Hey, look, this isn't about you failing. This is you hitting the natural limit of centralized control. Okay, so are you with me so far? Everybody catching on to what we're talking about here? Okay, good, because that's just the first force. Now let me show you the second one. And this is the one that is creating the fastest separation in the marketplace right now. Force number 2, the intelligence divide. Here's what's happened. While most operators weren't paying attention, AI stopped being a curiosity. But most businesses are still using AI like a toy. ChatGPT as an answer engine for drafting emails or writing summaries or for brainstorming ideas. But this year, everything changed. The companies leading the marketplace right now, they're not using AI as a tool anymore. They're using it as infrastructure. Let me take a sip of water here. Let me make sure that this distinction is real clear, okay? Because this is the game. AI as a tool means if you ask it questions, it gives you answers, but you still have to do the work. It's like saying to AI, draft this email for me. And AI gives you a draft and you review it, you edit it, and you send it. You saved 10 minutes, but you're still the bottleneck. AI as infrastructure means you give it the process. You give it the architecture and it runs the process for you and you just get the results. It's like telling your assistant, here is our hiring system. Here is what good looks like. Here's how we qualify, interview, and onboard. And then every resume gets scored. Unqualified applicants get screened out. Qualified ones get scheduled. Interview prep gets generated. Offers go out. Onboarding begins, all with the status updates and checkpoints to inspect what you expect. But the work is done without your involvement. That's the difference. Write it down like this. A tool helps you work faster. Infrastructure does the work. That's the difference, okay? It's a key distinction. Here's what makes this urgent right now. A new form of AI called agentic AI is now practical for small businesses, for mid-sized teams, for you. So you ask, what is agentic AI? Okay, it's simple. It's AI that completes tasks, not just answers questions, not just help me write an email, run my entire lead follow-up pipeline, not just summarize this customer conversation, respond to the customer, update the CRM, and alert the team, not just generate ideas, execute deliverables. Here's a real example, okay? Fred here runs a $9 million HVAC company, 89 technicians, busy guy. He was spending 20 hours a week just on hiring. He tried ChatGPT for job descriptions, saved him 90 minutes. Then Fred installed the new infrastructure that I'm talking to you about here. Now, instead of using AI to write job posts, he had a full AI supercharged hiring system that reviewed every resume using scoring criteria, pre-screened with intelligent assessments, auto-scheduled qualified candidates, sent reminders, delivered decision reports. While Fred's competitors were still taking 20 hours to hire, Fred's process only took 3. Fred was now 6 times faster for the same output and with a whole hell of a lot less effort. Not because Fred or his team got any smarter, not because they cared more, but because they crossed the intelligence divide. They stopped seeing AI as a helper and started using it as infrastructure. Someone just asked, how do I do that? Okay, just hold tight here. Okay, that's the whole point of this session. I'll get to it. Now, Here's what scares me, okay? If your competitors made this shift 60 days or 6 months ago, their AI systems are already running. They're already optimizing and they're already compounding the gains as we speak. You can't make up 6 months of optimization in a weekend. You can't make up the margin once they've claimed it. That's why I hope that you take action on the prescription that I'm going to give you coming up here, okay? So that's the intelligence divide, and it's widening every single day. All right, are you ready for the third force? This one, by the way, is the one that makes the first two existential. Are you ready? Okay. Force three is the prosperity paradox. Let me show you what's probably happening in your business right now. You're making more revenue than you did 3 years ago, right? And you're probably working harder than you did 3 years ago, right? But, and be honest with yourself here, are you taking home more profit? Are you putting more cash in the bank? Are you spending more time with your family? Are you more free than you were in 2021, 2022? Right. I didn't think so. That's what I call the prosperity paradox. And it's crushing businesses in the $1 to $50 million range. Why? How? Well, here's what happened, okay? The traditional model was more revenue equaled more profit equaled more freedom. It was a nice, clean, linear relationship. But that equation broke. Now it looks like this. More revenue equals more complexity equals more overhead equals the same or less profit and less freedom. Let me show you the math, okay? Mariana, hopefully you can keep up with me here, okay? So get yourself ready. Labor costs are up 20 to 30%. Benefit costs are up 15 to 25%. Insurance costs are up 20 to 40%. Subcontractors, more expensive. Tools, software, equipment, all up. Everything on the cost side of the equation is up. Meanwhile, your pricing power, stuck. You can't raise prices 30 to 50% that you need to cover it. Your customers will bail on you. So you're in this squeeze. Costs are scaling faster than revenue. Margins are getting chewed up. Cash flow is tighter. And the only way most operators know how to solve capability problems is what? Yeah, they hire. You generate more jobs, so what do? You hire more people. You generate more clients, so what do? You hire more people. You generate more leads, so what do? Hire more people. And that used to work when you had 25 to 30 or 45% margins. But now your margins might be 12%. So adding 80 grand in payroll to capture $100,000 in revenue, that doesn't work anymore. You know it. You have probably experienced it. You're growing your top line, but your take home is flat or down. You're still looking good on paper, revenue wise, but you're broke in cash and net income. And here's the worst part, okay? If the business only works when you are grinding, you don't have a business. You don't have an asset. You don't have a freedom machine. You have a very demanding, high liability job. Economists have a name for what's happening this year, and they call it decaf stagflation. Sounds ridiculous, right? But here's what it means. Growth is anemic. Inflation is sticky. Interest rates are high. Margins are compressed. Customers are hesitant. What's the translation to all that? You can't grow your way out. You can't hustle your way out. You can't hire your way out. The only way out is operational efficiency. So that, my friends, is the prosperity paradox. Success that doesn't scale, growth that doesn't free you, revenue that doesn't create value. And if your infrastructure isn't built right, more revenue just means more pain. So let's recap here, okay? The three forces converging right now are: one, the complexity threshold. You've hit a limit of what founder centrality can handle. Force two, the intelligence divide. AI shifted from a tool to infrastructure, and the clock is ticking for you to get on board. And then force number three is the prosperity paradox. Revenue is up, but profit, freedom, and business value are down. These three forces have created what I call the velocity trap. Oh, hell. Damn it. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Our UPS guy, shaggy blonde surfer bro here, has a terrible habit of ringing the freaking doorbell when he delivers packages. Anyway, where was I? Okay. The velocity trap. You're being asked to move faster with less overhead and higher quality all at once. And you can't solve for it by grinding harder. You're already grinding. I know. What you need is speed through systems, not sacrifice. That is the only path left. Did you catch that? That's the money line here, okay? Mariana, leave that slide up if you removed it. Yeah. Speed through systems, not sacrifice. That's what you're after. All right. So what do we do with this, okay? Well, in the old model of growth, that doesn't work anymore. If hiring more people isn't the answer anymore, if effort alone isn't enough anymore, then what is the answer? The answer is speed. Yeah, that's why this briefing is called Operation Speed. Speed is the only remaining advantage. Not better products, not smarter people, not lower prices, speed. And I know what you're thinking. Yeah, Darren, I know that speed matters. I get it. But quality matters too. Relationships matter too. Experience matters too. And you're right. Of course, they all matter. But let me show you what changed. Because this isn't about speed being important. It's about speed because it's always been important. This is about speed becoming the only thing that matters as a differentiator, as a mechanism of survival, as the key advantage competitively in your marketplace. Here's why. The rate of change has accelerated, in case you haven't noticed. The world isn't just changing, it's changing faster and faster every preceding day. The rate of change isn't linear anymore, it's exponential. So if your operating speed stays the same, while the world speeds up, you don't fall behind gradually, you get left behind permanently. Look, you have to know that your customers have been retrained to expect speed. Not by you, but by everybody else. Amazon delivers the same day. DoorDash delivers their dinner in 30 minutes. Uber arrives in 4 minutes from a few flicks of their thumb. Netflix loads instantly. Your customers interact with these companies every single day, and every single interaction teaches them the same lesson. Fast is normal. Instant is expected. Waiting is intolerable. And then they come to your business and you say, we'll get back to you in a couple of business days. You see, 2 business days, that dog don't hump. Don't hunt, right? No, you're gone, buddy. You're cooked. It's important to know you're not competing against other businesses in your industry anymore. You're competing against every other experience your customer has in general society. And almost all of those experiences are instant. This isn't about being faster than you used to be. This is about meeting the expectation that has already been set. Speed isn't the exception anymore. It's the standard, like it or not. And if you're not operating at that standard, you're disqualifying yourself before you can even compete. You can have the best product, but if you're 3 weeks slower to quote, 2 months slower to deliver, 8 weeks slower to install new systems, you lose. Sorry. Not because you're worse, because you're slower. And your customer won't wait. Not anymore. They've been trained not to wait. They'll just move to the faster option. That's what speed actually means this year. It's not about hustle. It's about installing the infrastructure that you need to operate with speed. Now, write it down if you haven't already, all right? Mariana, show that slide again, okay? Speed through systems, not sacrifice. That's the game. That's the only game left. All right, so if you are still with me, you're probably sitting there thinking, okay, Darren, I get it. I see the three forces. I see that speed is the game. I see the cost of delay. But what the hell do I actually do about this? Where do I start? How do I install this infrastructure without blowing up my current operations? Well, great questions. Listen, that's exactly the right questions to be asking. And it's exactly why I am here with you now, because I am not going to leave you hanging with a terrible diagnosis and no treatment. That would be just cruel. So look, I've watched thousands of founders and operators and business leaders sit exactly where you're sitting right now. Same pressure, same overwhelm, same I should be further along by now frustration. The ones who take action on what I'll show you, they're now operating wildly differently. They're leading their markets versus trying to catch up. The ones who didn't act, they're still the bottleneck. They're still grinding. They're still wondering when it's all going to get easier. Here's the deal. It doesn't get easier. You got to get better. You got to get infrastructure or you will stay trapped. So let me show you exactly how I can help you. I run something called the Business Masterclass. You might have heard of it. Here's what it is. It is the infrastructure that lets you leave at 5 p.m. and not check your phone until the morning. It is 35 years of my entire life's work installed in your business in 3 days. Talk about a freaking speed advantage, right? 35 years installed in your business in 3 days. It is you and me plus 1,000 of the top global leaders in a 3-day live virtual intensive where I install the infrastructure that I have described to you here. It's not motivation or inspiration. It is installation. And here's what I mean by that, okay? Marcus, who I shouted out earlier in the chat, he installed the hiring infrastructure just last June. By September, his time to hire dropped from 47 days to 11. He stopped doing interviews with unqualified candidates. He got his Friday afternoons back. Rachel Simmons runs a $7 million marketing agency. She installed the client multiplication system, turned a $3,500 one-time service into a $9,500 annual recurring client, plus referrals worth tens of thousands more. She tripled her revenue 12 months after our 3-day business masterclass. So these aren't theoretical outcomes here. These are what happens when you stop learning about systems and start installing them to execute in your business. So now I have trained more than 10,000 CEOs and business owners. I think 11,000 and some odd over the last 14 years that have come through the Business Masterclass. And after 11,000 some odd who have experienced it, it has and holds a 9.8 stars out of 10 rating. How nuts is that? And more than half of the alumni that go through it once keep coming back again and again. Now, why would they come back? Did they forget the material? No, they come back because it works. And when something creates a massive profit for you and your family, well, you betcha you keep going back to that well for more. Mariana, how many countries do we have on right now? Just text that to me. She says 23. Oh, that's wild, right? Wow, I love that. See, I've trained leaders in now 137 unique countries. So if you're wondering, but will this work in my business with my unique and special thing that we do that's different than normal business? These systems have been proven to work in any type of business, enterprise, or organization. B2B, B2C, B2B2C, B2G, business to government, wholesale, retail, OEM, resellers, for-profit, nonprofit, religious, you name it. All 11,000 plus were from every conceivable type of business and industry. And starting at any size as well. If you're like, but what about my size? Sub 1 million to several billion dollars have comprised of those 11,000 CEOs and business leaders. So it doesn't matter where you are now. It matters more where you are committed to growing. Here's what the Business Masterclass does. See if this would matter to you, okay? Listen closely. Day one, we're focused on customer acquisition, growing your new customer acquisition significantly, and positioning you and your business and brand as the market authority so that you don't have to chase customers anymore. They will hunt you down. We'll build a revenue pipeline that doesn't depend on you. How does that sound? We'll identify the exact customer that you should be targeting, the one already primed to buy quickly. Buy more often, and refer others more. You'll learn how to profile where to find them, how to trigger them, and exactly what to say to convert them quickly and profitably and in volume. We will also build your authority position so that buyers trust you before they ever even speak to you. You'll create a compelling lead magnets that will capture 70% of every audience that you touch instead of just 3%. And will design your primary conversion mechanism where prospects become buyers. By the end of just day one, you'll have a complete customer acquisition engine mapped out. Not notes, not theory, an end-to-end system that you can deploy the following week. Would you like a plethora of new high margin customers and clients? If so, you're going to love day one. Day two, value optimization and client multiplication. This is how you multiply the value of every customer, past, present, and future. We'll build your compelling value proposition, an offer stack so irresistible, so obvious, your customers would feel irresponsible saying no. There's a science to it, and it could be applied to what you offer. We'll also install properly packaged and presented upsells and add-ons that can double net profit on the same customers you already have. And we'll create a formalized and automated referral system that turns happy clients into an unpaid sales army of evangelists. Alumni Chance Pott recently reported that he generated $23,000 in immediate income, having the MVP AI execute on just one referral idea. So by the end of day two, you'll have systems to deliver and be rewarded with maximum value for every customer relationship. Revenue that you're currently leaving on the table, I promise you, will now be captured. That's day two. Day three is A-player recruitment and building a high performance culture. This is how you build a team that executes without you in the room. You'll learn the 6 vital factors that separate thriving teams from toxic, stuck, and struggling ones. The same principles behind the cultures of high-performing teams at Apple, Nike, Netflix, Amazon, and the like that I have been in and have diagnosed, but made practical and applicable for businesses like yours. You'll build your recruiting systems to identify A players before you hire them, not 6 months after you've already made an expensive mistake. Tom Capuano, who runs a home inspection franchise, had 2 bad hires in 2025 that cost him $350,000. He came to BMC, installed the A player only hiring system, and hired 3 new A players this past December and January who are already pacing to bring in $1 million in new annual revenue by just knowing how to get the right people. Our team of 15 outproduces our competitors who have 150 people generating the same level of revenue. And it's not because we work harder. It's because we built it right. And I'll show you exactly how we do it, taking you behind the scenes of my own organization and exactly how you can install the same systems into your organization. By the end of day 3, you'll have a complete system to recruit, develop, and lead a team that builds your business without burying you beneath it. And here's what's different now. Every one of these profit-producing systems has been encoded with AI. We have designed an entire portal with all these strategy execution formulas already built in. It takes my 35 years and encodes it directly into a proprietary AI. It's called the MVP AI portal. MVP standing for your most valuable partner. One that doesn't sleep, take nights or weekends or holidays off, never calls in sick, never gets tired, and doesn't require healthcare benefits or retirement savings. But let me be clear about what our AI is and is not. This is not generic ChatGPT that spits out generic content scraped off of Reddit. We spent 18 months encoding my entire methodology into this system. Every framework, every decision tree, every quality standard, every strategy formula. The speed comes from structure, not shortcuts. Every output runs through the same quality controls that I would apply myself. Oh, hell, I'll tell you what, the best way is to just show you. Okay, so let me show you my screen really quickly here. Let me see what I need to do to share my screen. Let's see, share. Yes, share. I'm going to share this. Okay. All right, so hopefully you see my screen now. And you come into our MVP AI portal, as you see up here. And this is our great Stuart. He's our AI integrator for our organization and will also lead workshops helping you and your organization. And instantly right up here, this is how we personalize it for your business, your product or service, your target audience, your voice, and your brand style guide. So everything comes out personalized for you. I'll just take you through this here. And then here's how we target your best buyer profile so that we're finding the people who are already pre-qualified, pre-interested, pre-motivated to buy from you, how to identify and where to find them. And then all the strategies that we teach you at BMC related to acquiring new customers in mass at high profitability. All that's in here. Advanced our core strategies, advanced strategies, how to build a compelling value proposition that becomes irresistible, where one would be irresponsible to not to buy. And here is how to generate more new revenue per customer. All the strategies, the specific psychology strategies, the offerings are all built into these strategies here. And then how our entire referral automation system that is built, and all the strategies are in here. All you got to do is copy, paste, and deploy them. All these things on content marketing, writing headlines, and all blog articles, all this framework. You would have to pay 3 employees to generate the outputs that can be generated here in minutes using these strategy formulas. They've already been encoded. All these lead magnet creations, annual reports, white papers, research reports, literally copy and paste, brochures, pamphlets, educational buyer enablement, right? Visual brand assets, seasonal and event content, all these strategies that have been thought through, that have been proven to work, they've all been built into here. All you got to do is copy and paste press releases, media kits, pitch decks, and so forth. All the direct mail applications, single page, door hangers, re-engagement cards, multi-page direct mail, all in here. All these strategies are already pre-programmed in here. Email marketing, all different forms of email marketing, multi-sequences, as you can see here, right? Hooks and headlines, single promotional email, limited time offer, seasonal, automated educational sequence, all that is pre-designed for you. You know what it'd take a copywriter? If you're trying to hire a copywriter, if they're any good, they're incredibly expensive. They're 50 to 100 grand per campaign if they're any good. And all that intel is programmed into these strategies already. Phone marketing and voicemail marketing, all the scripts of what's been figured out to be effective. Text, SMS marketing, all those strategy formulas already built in here. Social media marketing, all the hooks and headlines, all the best practices about generating response on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter or X, LinkedIn, all those things that have been proven to work, all the protocols that are of best practices combined with my proprietary strategies pre-programmed into all these. All you got to do is copy and paste, because it will customize it for your business, your target audience, your product or service, and your campaign objective. All website content, landing pages, business website, every single possible page on your on your homepage, FAQ, knowledge base, general web content, all that built in here. Customer service protocols already built, all in here. Your team building, recruiting, developing your culture, your high performance culture, productivity, and other AI powered tools. I mean, there's tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars of asset value in here. Now, how do I stop this? Okay. All right. So hopefully you get the point of that. Let me minimize that. All right. So access to the BMC MVP AI execution engine that I just showed you, that is a $10,000 annual license. But I'm going to show you here in a second how you can get a year's license to all of that, which is worth, for you, the cost of it would be hundreds of thousands of dollars. The value of it would be millions upon millions of dollars of output. And the normal annual license would be $10,000. But I'm going to show you how to get a year license for free, and how you get access to the HardyBot. So the HardyBot, we also encoded with all my knowledge base. And this is your 24/7 strategic advisor. And it's in your pocket. It is ready right now. At 11 p.m. on a Saturday, if you've got a strategy question, it is answered by 11:01. You're stuck on a decision that your team needs guidance on. It is solved before you finish your morning coffee. You need a second opinion on your Q3 plan, instant feedback and improvement suggestions as if you were talking directly with me. No scheduling required, no wait times, no extra consulting or advisory fees, right? So the HardyBot is a $5,000 annual license, but I'll also show you how to get free access to that as well. And then the Hardy Club Access. This is a 1-year member access pass that you also get with a Business Masterclass seat. This is a private association of operators who execute the most valuable virtual country club in the world. You'll never lack for the right contacts and connections again if you become a member of the Hardy Club. Inside the club are live workshops, quarterly intensive, small peer groups matched by revenue level. You see proof that revenue can be created, margin freedom and value can increase. You see how others are recovering a 5 to 10 point margin on their revenue. You see how they're scaling without adding headcount. You see how they're building enterprise value. No wannabes, no networking theater. We're talking real accountability from people building real businesses. This is how you radically level up your associations. Annual membership in the Hardy Club is $5,000, but I'm going to show you how to get a complimentary annual access pass here, okay? And here's what makes this different from every other business program that you've seen or experienced. It is 100% me. All day, all 3 days, start to finish. I don't pass you off to guest speakers that you quickly scroll past on YouTube or TikTok, let alone pay money to sit there and listen to. I hate that. I pay to get into somebody's training and then I'm stuck listening to somebody else I wouldn't even watch on YouTube. So no, there's no, here's my friend who's going to share their story garbage. You are getting a finely curated, distilled, and compressed strategy set that I've put thousands upon thousands of hours into designing. You're getting one end-to-end integrated methodology where everything connects and nothing contradicts. And I'll also add, since it is all me, I've designed this the way that I'd want to experience it myself. So there is no dancing, there's no Zoom yoga, there's no chanting, there's no closed-eyed meditations, there's no child regressions, there's no shazamming and no chest beating, no incanting, say I. None of that motivational mumbo-jumbo horsepucky that makes my sphincter tighten and my back sweat. Now, if you're into any of that, hey, that's fine. You can do that. You are free to do that on your own time. Just know I won't be wasting any of our precious time on that malarkey or forcing you to suffer through it. So the total price of everything that I described for you here is $35,000. But you're not going to pay $35,000. It would be worth 10 to 100 times that, but still, you're not going to pay $35,000. You're not even going to pay $25,000. Not even $15,000. Why? Because I'm deeply committed to helping small to mid-sized business leaders find their way in this fast-changing and radically accelerating business landscape. So I have funded this so that instead of you having to pay the $35,000 price tag, the investment is only $769 today and 12 monthly installments of $769. That's it. That's the number. A strategy consultant charges $500 an hour. 3 days of their time would be $12,000. One bad hire costs you $50,000 minimum between recruiting, training, severance, and the lost productivity. One recovered point of margin on a $5 million business is $50,000 a year, every year, forever. Hell, you couldn't hire a VA in the Philippines for $769 a month. You're getting 35 years of battle-tested methodology, AI encoded execution infrastructure, and a global network of operators for less than what most businesses lose on a single hiring mistake. There's also a VIP option, and here's why this option exists. Because learning the systems and installing the systems are not the same thing. The VIP option gives you access to our post-BMC implementation program called the BMA, the Business Mastery Accelerator. 4 weeks of build with you implementation after BMC, completely led by me. Just you, I, and the VIP group installing the systems in your business week over week. 4 weekly live sessions with me, real-time feedback on your specific business. And you'll be in a VIP peer group installing the same systems along with you. That means you don't leave BMC with notes. Within the first 4 weeks, you have systems running. Your new authority positioning deployed in marketing. Your revenue system processing leads. Your hiring system screening candidates. Your AI workflows producing results. Fully operational. VIP is an additional $230 today, plus 12 monthly installments of $230. That's it. And here's what all this means. If this delivers even just one of the outcomes that we discussed today, if you break the complexity threshold and recover the revenue that's currently stuck, waiting for your approval. If you cross the intelligence divide and automate one process that would have cost you $80,000 in headcount, if you escape the prosperity paradox and recover 5 points of margin on your current revenue, all of your investment is covered. You only need one win, one faster hire, one closed deal that wouldn't have closed before, one system that frees up 10 hours of your week. One. And I even guarantee your return personally. A 10-day one, and if by 5 p.m. Pacific that day you don't already see how this will deliver at least a 300% return on your investment, you can excuse yourself from the rest of the session and return your materials. I give you a full and complete refund, no problem, no hassle at all. So that means that I carry 100% of the risk on you and your integrity. You carry zero. You risk nothing, but have everything to gain. I cannot make it any easier for you than that. This guarantee exists because the methodology works 100% of the time. The systems deliver. The AI executes. The results are measurable. So here's what happens next, okay? The Business Masterclass is May 4th through the 6th. This is installing speed through systems, not sacrifice. That's the promise. That's the leverage that you've been killing yourself to find. That's the delivery. 3 days. Mariana, if you would, please activate the registration button below. So everybody just click on that registration button. It will take you to the special invitation page that we have set up, especially for you, especially for this broadcast exclusively. Okay? There it is. Now, listen, okay? I'm going to be direct with you about something here. This decision is not about money. Every person on this briefing can afford $769. That is not the issue. And by the way, if that is the issue, then you really freaking need this and need to figure out how to get your $769 so that you're no longer in that terrible position. And this isn't about time either, okay? Don't let that inner voice tell you that either. You can find 3 days in May. I know you can. And if you can't find 3 days in May, then you really freaking need this. And you really need to get control of your calendar and need to figure this out so that you can get there. So what is this really about then? It's about the gap between where you are right now and who you need to become to build what you actually want. And look, I get it, okay? The gap is uncomfortable to look at. But here's what I know after 35 years of doing this. Remember those two types of business owners? Type 1 builds leverage before they need it. They see the trend, they assess the cost of waiting, and they move. They don't wait for a crisis. They don't wait until 3 contracts have been lost. They don't wait until their best person quits. They see it coming and they install the infrastructure while there is still time. Type 2 waits for proof. They wait until the pain is undeniable, until the competitor is pulled so far ahead they can't catch up, until the cost of inaction exceeds the cost of action. Both types start businesses, by the way, but only one type ever scales. And in today's environment, only one type survives. Let me address something really common here, okay? You might be thinking on this, right? But I want to assure you that you're not, all right? You might feel a tingling of imposter syndrome. Am I qualified to be in this group? Am I worthy? Am I ready? Is my business ready? Look, first, I have been doing this for 35 plus years, and 90% plus of the people, no matter how you see them from the outside, felt exactly the same way when faced with this type of a decision. You'd really be surprised who also suffers from those kind of imposter syndrome, inner voice questions. If you are still listening to me, if you stuck it out to this point, something is calling out to you. That is not an accident that you have found yourself here listening to me now. You were meant to be here right now, faced with this choice to realize more of your capability. And second, I have seen, witnessed, and experienced personally, the key to advancing is to do it before you feel ready. Nothing I have ever done successfully was I trained to do, or was I experienced in, or was I ready for. Every mastermind group that I joined, every private club that I joined, every elevated event that I went to, I was always way above my head in qualifications. But that was exactly what ascended me up. Those environments lifted me, drew me out of my status quo, drew me out of my imposter syndrome mindset, and ascended me to where I needed to be. I was planted in a bigger pot and then watered and fertilized by a richer environment of associations. That is what I am inviting you into. And I will say this again to encourage you forward. The key to advancing, to ascending, to growing is to do it before you are ready. I can open the door for you, but you have to enter on your own. Okay. So here's what I want you to understand, okay? 6 months from now, you're going to be somewhere. Either you are operating a business that runs without your constant pressure, with systems that execute while you sleep, with infrastructure that lets you scale without chaos, or you're going to be exactly where you are now, only much further behind. Working as hard, still the bottleneck, still exhausted, still watching competitors pull ahead and wondering what they know that you don't. The difference between those two futures is one decision today. Now, look, I can't make this decision for you. I wouldn't even if I could. But I can tell you this. I've been doing this long enough to know who acts and who deliberates. Some of you will take action fast and enroll in the next 5 minutes. You'll install these systems in May, you'll refine them over the summer, and by Q4, you'll be operating in a completely different category, dominating in your space and reaping the profits that come with that. I love fast action takers. I'm one of them myself. And some of you will wait. You'll think about it. You'll compare this to other programs that you're going through, coaches that you're already paying for, materials that you bought but haven't studied. You'll talk to your team. You'll wait to see how Q1 or Q2 finishes out. And when you're finally ready to move, the gap will be wider, the climb will be steeper, and the opportunity will have passed. So use the registration button below. The choice is yours. You have two options. The core BMC, the 3 days, everything we discussed, only $769 now and 12 monthly installments of $769, or the VIP option with the Business Mastery Accelerator. 4 weeks of build with you implementation, only an additional $230 now and 12 monthly installments of $230, okay? And I'll tell you what, my team is going to kill me, but what the heck? The first 50 people who enroll right now, I will send you one of these beautiful tumblers that I have been sipping out of here. As you can see, it's got the Business Masterclass alumni on it. I use this thing all day and all night, no joke. It goes into the sauna with me in the morning. It sits on my desk right here all day to be sure that I get the water intake that I need. It goes to the gym with me. It sits next to my favorite chair while enjoying evening entertainment. It sits on my nightstand at night in case I wake up parched. So for the first 50 from this broadcast right now, I'll send you one of these. I think we have 50 left in our fulfillment house. You can't buy one of these. We don't sell them. They're only something that we give out to special folks. And if you are a fast action taker today, you are indeed a special folk. All right. So that is where we are. Get in on the first 50 and I'll send you one of the tumblers, one of my 24/7 companions. It's my gift to you for being a fast action taker. And you also still get my personal 300% ROI guarantee. It still applies. A 10-day one. If by 5 p.m. Pacific, you don't believe that it will return at least 3 times your investment, return your materials, I'll give you a full refund. I carry the risk. You carry none. So you don't even have to say yes. Just say maybe. Just say maybe and get yourself to day one. Okay? But understand something. The real risk isn't losing $769, okay? The guarantee removes all of that. The real risk is staying where you are, watching competitors install what you're still researching, working harder next year for the same results. That's the risk. And no guarantee protects you from that. Leaders don't wait for certainty. They build capability. The capability to move faster, the capability to scale without chaos, the capability to compete with businesses twice their size. That's what May 4th through the 6th builds. So use the registration button below. The timing couldn't be more urgent. Decide accordingly. Listen, I hope to see you in May, okay? More than 1,000 global leaders will be there, whether you are there or not. So enroll now if you're a type 1 action taker. Meanwhile, I will open it up for questions. So, whatever is on your mind, whatever you need to hear to make the call, just type it into chat and Mariana will text me the questions that she selects. Okay. So, let's do that now. Just go ahead and type your questions in the chat. Mariana's going to text me here. I'll tell you what, while Mariana is texting me questions, let me start with this one, okay? Because I know a lot of you are thinking about it, even if you don't type it into the chat. And the question is why should I trust another business program, right? Let's put that on the table. You have been burned before, no doubt. Maybe it was a $10,000 mastermind that was mostly upsells. Maybe it was a coach who never actually ran a business and was useless. Maybe it was a conference that left you high for a week and then you crashed by Monday. I get it. I've been there, gone to them, have done it myself. Remember, I curated this industry for more than 25 years as the central figure of the success media industry. The business education industry is full of people selling inspiration that they can't install. So here's what I would tell you. I'm not asking you to trust me. I'm asking you to test me. Come to day one. If by 5 p.m. Pacific you don't believe this will return at least 3 times your investment, leave. Return the materials, full refund. I carry that risk. You carry none. That's not a marketing gimmick. That is me saying, I know what happens when people actually install this. 10,000, 11,000 operators over 14 years have proven it. The methodology works. So no, you don't have to trust me. You just have to show up. Then you'll know for sure. Okay, let's see. Here's the first question from Mariana. How is this different from other programs that I've done? Okay, kind of the same question, but let's do that. Let's do that anyway. Here's the deal. Most programs teach you about problems. This installs the solutions. You've probably been to events where you left with 47 pages of notes and then implemented nothing, where you got 12 frameworks from 12 different speakers that contradicted each other, where the implementation plan was basically good luck. That's not this. 3 days, 5 systems, 1 methodology, 1 complete operating system. Everything connects, nothing contradicts. And here's the real difference. Most programs assume that you'll go home and build from scratch. This gives you the infrastructure pre-built. The MVP AI execution system already has the strategies encoded. You're not creating, you're deploying. You leave with systems running, not notes about what you should do someday, particularly if you choose VIP. And you get the 4 weeks of my personal advisory and coaching over 4 weeks. It is what is called our Business Mastery Accelerator. Okay. Next, I feel like I've tried everything. Why would this be different? Because you haven't tried this. Let me guess what you've tried. You hired a coach. You got generic advice. It was expensive. You tried EOS or traction, too bureaucratic for your size. The team resisted it. You abandoned it. You went to a Tony Robbins event. You jumped up and down. You beat your chest, you firewalked, it felt amazing or whatever, and you crashed by Thursday. You bought AI tools, you subscribed to them, but you never used them. You read 20 books, you highlighted everything, you implemented nothing. Am I close? Here's what all of that has in common. They gave you ideas, not infrastructure. Ideas require you to build from scratch. Infrastructure requires you to plug in. That's the difference. And that's why this works when other things have not. Now, here's one that nobody typed in, okay? But I know some of you are thinking, what if I'm the problem? What if no system can fix me? Let me tell you something, okay? You're not the problem. Your operating system is the only problem. The same instincts that built your first million, the control, the involvement, the nobody does it like I do, those were strengths when you had only 3 employees. But they're poison when you have 13 or 30. You didn't fail. You succeeded so well at the first game that you broke the second one. The problem isn't you. The problem is that you're still running founder mode software on an enterprise level hardware, and nobody taught you how to upgrade. That's what this May is all about. We don't fix you. We install new infrastructure around you so that your business stops requiring you to hold it together with your bare hands. You're not broken. Your architecture is. And architecture can be rebuilt. Okay. Next, what if I bring this back and my team doesn't buy in? They've seen me come back from programs before. Yeah, that's real. Okay. They've watched you come back from conferences excited, new whiteboard, new vocabulary, new initiatives. 2 weeks later, it all quietly disappeared and they learned to just wait it out. This too shall pass, right? So here's how BMC is wildly different. Okay. First, you're not coming back with ideas to implement. You're coming back with systems that are already running. Your AI strategies are active before you get home. Your hiring scorecard is built. Your acquisition engine is ready to deploy. There's nothing to quote unquote buy into. There's just, here's how we're doing this now. Second, in the BMA, we specifically cover the rollout, how to introduce the systems without resistance, how to frame it so your team sees relief, not more work. Here, how to get traction before skepticism kicks in. So you're not going back hoping that they'll buy in and follow. You're going back with infrastructure already installed. Okay, next. I'm embarrassed. I even need help with this. Shouldn't I have figured this out by now? Okay, well, let me ask you something. Would you be embarrassed to hire an architect to design a building? Would you be embarrassed to bring in a surgeon for an operation? Would you be embarrassed that you didn't personally know how to do either of those things? Of course not. So why are you embarrassed that you don't instinctively know how to architect and scale a business? Nobody taught you this. Not business school, not your first boss, not books. You were supposed to just figure it out on your own, how to go from founder-led hustle to systemized and scalable enterprise. And that is absurd. The fact that you're here means that you're smart enough to recognize the gap. Most founders never even get that far. They just keep grinding and blaming themselves for being tired. You don't need to figure this out on your own. You only need to install the systems that I will show you. And that's why we are here. Okay? I'll keep going here if Mariana keeps feeding me more of your questions. All right. What if I'm too far behind on AI to catch up? What if you're too far behind on the internet? What if you're too far behind using a computer? Okay, you're not, right? Here's what most people don't understand about the intelligence divide. It's not about technical skill. It's about strategic application. The founders ahead of you right now, most of them don't code or have any technical capability themselves. Most of them are not tech centric. They just understood the difference between AI as a tool and AI as infrastructure, and they installed the infrastructure. The MVP AI execution engine doesn't require you to be technical at all. If you can copy and paste, you're golden. You're not building from scratch. You're deploying strategy formulas that we've already encoded. The 35 years of methodology, it's already in there. The strategy protocols, already in there. Your brand voice, we build it together. So you're not learning AI. You're using AI that already knows what to do. The gap isn't closed by becoming technical. It's closed by deploying what I have already built for you. That's what May installs. Okay, next. What if I don't follow through? I've started things before and didn't finish. Yeah, I know. Welcome to the party, right? You've got courses that you've bought and have never finished, right? You've got books that you started and never completed, right? You've got systems that you began installing and abandoned when the business pulled you back, of course. And now there's this quiet voice saying to you, what if this is just another thing that I don't finish? Here is why this is different. Those programs gave you a blank canvas. Here are the concepts. Now build your systems. This gives you documented frameworks and says, install these. You're not creating from zero. You're deploying proven infrastructure. And if you do the VIP option, you've got me and a peer group for 4 weeks. Not how's it going? It's show me what you built this week. The follow through isn't on you alone. It's built into the structure. The systems get installed whether you're having a good or a bad week. That's the point. Okay. What if my situation is too far gone? Really? Okay, so last year, a guy called me running a $12 million distribution company. 5 years ago, he had margins of 37%. When he called me, 9%. He had 14 direct reports, approving every PO over $500, 1,100 unread emails, hadn't taken a real day off in 3 years. He said exactly what you're thinking right now. He said to me, Darren, I think that I'm too far gone. I think I broke it. We installed his systems last summer. By September, he had 17% margins. By December, 21% margins, not because he worked harder, but because we rebuilt his architecture. Here's what I need you to understand, okay? The worse your situation is, the more these systems will help. If you're already efficient, these will give you a few points. But if you're drowning, if you're the human router for everything, if you're working 70 hours a week and margins are still compressing, these systems were built for you. You're not too far gone. You're exactly where this has the most impact. Okie dokie. What if I sign up and my spouse thinks I'm wasting money on another thing? Oh yeah, this one is personal. I get it. They've watched you invest in programs before, coaches, courses, conferences, and they've watched you come back excited and then end up still stressed, still working nights, still checking your phone at dinner. So now there's tension around anything that looks like another business thing, right? Well, here's what I'd tell you to tell them. This isn't about growing the business as much as this is about me not being a bottleneck anymore. That's what you tell them. This is about me coming home at a reasonable hour every night. This is about building something that doesn't collapse when I step away, when we go on vacation, when we take a long weekend. This is about having a business that I can actually sell someday instead of a job I can never quit. That's not a business expense. That is a quality of life investment. One, your spouse will be delighted to hear about it. And here's the risk eliminator to make this an easy choice, okay? Day one, if you don't see the ROI, full refund. So at worst, you tell your spouse, I lose 3 days, learn some stuff. At best, I get my life back for you and our family. That's the conversation. So let me run through a few logistical questions you might have quickly in case any of these are on your mind. Like, what's the time commitment after BMC? So for the core BMC, it's 3 days for the event and then 90 days of self-paced implementation. You get a handbook here. You get the MVP AI engine. You get the Hardy Club support. With the VIP, you get a snazzier handbook, the Red Hot handbook. 3 days of the BMC, then 4 weeks with me doing weekly sessions, 2 to 3 hours per. And by week 4, your systems are running. And here's the real answer. You're spending that time either way. Either you spend it being the bottleneck or you spend it installing infrastructure that removes you from that position. One is a recurring cost and one is a one-time investment. Now you might think, what is the refund policy? Again, I will say it simply, a 10-day one. If by 5 p.m. Pacific, you don't believe, this is a belief, that it will return at least 300% on your investment. You just return your materials and you get a full refund, no hassle. I carry the risk, you carry none. Now, if you ask, can I bring my team? Your leadership team, yes, it is highly recommended that you do so. People who own functions like sales, recruiting, culture, and growth. Your executors, not necessary. You learn the frameworks, you bring the systems back and deploy them. And then they operate them. Just know that everybody that you do bring at your leadership level needs their own seat. It's like an airline, one butt per seat. Nobody rides for free. Now, if you're asking, what if I can't attend live? You get 96 hours of recording access from the time the event ends, okay? 96 from the last hour of the last day. And you get 14 days if you choose the VIP option. But the live is different. You want to be there for the live if you can. The energy, the breakouts, the real-time Q&A. The recordings are great. And if that's the only thing that you can get yourself to, that's fine. But live is where the big breakthroughs happen. Now, let me leave you with this, okay? There is a question maybe you didn't ask, but I know that you're thinking it. What if I'm just not cut out for the next level? Listen to me. You've built something from nothing. You figured out how to get customers when nobody knew your name. You survived the years when you weren't sure you'd make payroll. You're still standing when most businesses fail in year one. You're not cut out for it. You're just running the wrong operating system for where you are now. The founder who hustles and controls everything. That is the person who got you here. But the operator who builds infrastructure and leads through systems, that person gets you to the next level. You don't have to become someone different. You have to install a different way of operating. That's it. That's what May is about. So the registration button is below. May 4th through the 6th. Some of you will enroll in the next 5 minutes. You'll install this infrastructure. You'll operate differently by the summer. And by Q4, you'll wonder how and why you waited this long. Some of you will think about it. You'll wait to see how Q2 goes. And 6 months from now, you'll still be the bottleneck. You'll still be grinding. You'll still be wondering if it gets any easier. It doesn't get any easier until you get infrastructure. And until you do that, you'll stay trapped. So the button is below. I'll see my type ones in May. Thank you for joining me. Bye-bye for now.